So this title is from books that changed how I think. Books that were able to change my thoughts about particular things. And I'll first start with You Used to Love Me by Adesuwa Omanowakili. Why? So earlier on in my life, I used to have, there are sometimes when you think of some mindsets you used to have in the past, you're like, sister, you form my hand, but then everybody can grow. Everybody makes mistakes. So yes. I used to have very low opinion of women who stayed in abusive homes. I always felt like, oh my gosh, boy, you're smarter than this. You can leave him, you can poison him. Different things used to go through my head. Bear in mind, I was also a very young lady at the time. I mean, I wasn't even up to 20. So excuse my, yes, until I read You Used to Love Me. So it was able to walk me through the motions of, oh, baby girl, things are not black and white. It's not how you see things, that's how they are. So I was able to like, okay, be more understanding of people. And I think that's one thing that Adesuwa has in her books. She makes it so that you understand that this could be you, my love. I know everybody say it could never be me, but there's a way she writes her stories that makes you pause and realize it could be you. Yeah, you're reading, it could be you. So maybe be just a little gracious to who is going through stuff in the stories. Now, even for her other books, there's some scenarios where I'm like, girl, why? And then I remember there's something about it that makes me chill and be like, don't talk, my dear, don't talk. And for sometimes when you see ladies act crazy for love, and you'll be like, it could never be me. Then you now remember something you've done in your past life, and you're like, thank God nobody knows about this. Thank God, like that's the way you're going to react, and that's that. Another book that taught me, or that changed how I think, was, okay, I think it will be two books. I'll make them two. Homegoing by Yagi Asi and Daughter in Exile. I had no idea how immigration works. I was completely clueless. I mean, I'd read books of Africans in diaspora, but I hadn't read of them struggling with immigration. So when I read Daughter in Exile, I was like, oh, okay, I understand. It was able to make me realize on a deeper level that if you want to jackpot, there are so many things you have to put into consideration. There are so many groundwork you have to do if you don't want to suffer, if you don't want your going abroad to be in vain. And like, it's such, and I feel like many people do not know this, and which is why they make the decisions that they make. So reading these books taught me that if I ever want to jackpot, if I have that in my plans, is that certain things that I should take into consideration, and I recommend them to you too. If you want to jackpot, at least know how people who live in the abroad, how their life is. And I mean, so even if you have friends and family living there, they may not be able to tell you everything, because they may just not be able to tell you everything. And besides, many people's experiences are unique to them, but still it's important that you are informed about this. So you must make sure that you read certain books, like the books are recommended for them. Another thing I'll talk about is, sickle cell anemia. I never thought about them in the way I did when I read Stay With Me by Ayobami Adebayo and Till Death by Busayo Matuluko. So there is a scene where some people are like, oh, I'm AA, my child is AA, there's AA in our family, nobody has ever had AS. Bullshit, by the way, because you can never know. You've not been able to trace your African ancestry to determine if nobody has been AS. And you're like, okay, because of that, I do not want my child to get married to someone who has contaminated blood. I remember reading that and I was like, exactly, you said what? Because it just seems so unreal to me. And I like that I was exposed to thoughts like that, because I don't think that it's something that is very realistic, because this evil mother-in-law thing is not just play. Some people, that's really the way they are. They'll be like, we have pure blood in my family, we cannot mix it all. And it was very sad reading that, especially because the person speaking was quite educated. So it was very, very disturbing reading that, but I know it's a reality. And for Stay With Me, I realized, oh, people can okay, so Stay With Me also and Inconceivable by Sinead Wade taught me that nobody except a woman who wants a child can understand the desperation of women who want children, which is why there was a joke of Yetunde hearing the trumpet calling, and people were laughing, like it sounded funny, but because I just finished reading Inconceivable by Sinead Wade, I did not find it funny. I was like, I really hope that you are never in that kind of situation where you really want children and you don't have children. There is literally nothing a woman would not do to have children. This movie by Bolaji Ogunmola, we see this babe, we see what I think it's Angela. I think it's Angela. Even to her husband, it does not make sense to them. They're like, the men are like, auntie, rest, because they're like, they don't understand. And that's why I said, except if you've been in that position, you cannot understand what it feels like to want a child, which is why you should not make jokes of that situation. It's not something that should be taken lightly with. So that's another thing that books taught me. Like, they just changed my mind on that. Another thing is insecure partners. First off, I didn't used to think insecurity was a very big deal. I used to feel like it's manageable. Not manageable, but it's something like you can easily just overlook. But in a renewed kind of love by Adesuwa Omanu and in Our Own Ways by Yejide Kilankom. I'm so sorry if I didn't get the name pronunciation correctly, but I just realized, an insecure partner can kill you. That's the summary. An insecure partner can kill you because they would be unwilling to confess certain aspects of their weaknesses. They'll be like, you know what, I'd rather this person just die than then know that this is what is wrong with me. Really. And it's sad because when you decide to marry someone, you're like, I marry all of you, like every part of you that is you is what I'm marrying. So why would you decide to be insecure? Like, why would you? It's all say, see, you people need to read those books to get what I'm saying, because I don't want to give you spoilers, so I'm trying not to give you spoilers, but just that I'm marrying an insecure person has a very high tendency to kill a person. Like, it doesn't, I'm not even saying like marrying an insecure man or woman, both genders, because for a renewed kind of love, the woman was the one that was insecure. In Our Own Ways, it was the man that was insecure. So you just have to know that this is a very, it's something you have to look out for. You just have to be very sensitive about it. And lastly, I think one book that taught me that family, a woman can speak up when she has support is Born in the House of Glass. Having sisters, friends is very important for a woman. It is so important. And I think even men recognize the importance of friendships in the life of a woman, which is why some abusive men tend to separate their wives from their friends, from their sisters, because they know, oh, there's actually power in sisterhood. So when you have girlfriends, like your girl, you have girlfriends that love you, please don't let them go. Like, do not let them go. You should know from the bottom of your heart, like, oh, these girls or these women, they have my best interest at heart. Don't let them go, because when you do, men tend to take advantage of that, and then they do a lot of shitty things. And when you do those shitty things, they know that, oh, you don't have a voice, because to some extent, what gives women voices is their friends, like their sisters. You know that, oh, they have some support. And I love that in When in the House of Glass, this babe bounced back. I'm like, sister. Yes. And that's all for me for today. Bye. See you.